Let's stay on a similar subject, but take it across to the US, because the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell dashed traders' hopes of a March interest rate cut when he was speaking on Wednesday. The US economy is performing unexpectedly strongly, despite the Fed raising borrowing costs to a two-decade-long high in its own fight against inflation. Official data showed that US employers still created more than 200,000 new jobs in December, with unemployment remaining at just 3.7%. We'll have the latest numbers coming out in a few hours' time later today. Well, Nella Richardson is chief economist at the HR services company ADP, which does its own research into the US economy, including a much-watched monthly employment survey. Let's focus, though, on the non-farm payrolls. What are we expecting? And I wonder what influence it could have on the Fed.
Good morning. Well, we're expecting another solid report. It may not reach the 200,000 more than that we saw in December, but the consensus is 185,000. So that's a really strong level of growth. And what it tells the Fed is that they can just sit tight on interest rates, much like the Bank of England. Sit tight, make sure that inflation does indeed go back to 2%, because it's not a foregone conclusion that inflationary pressures won't rise again.
I mean, from your surveys, your knowledge of the US employment sector, what's the mood like right now? I know your survey for January showed private employers added 107,000 jobs in January. Does that suggest that the slowdown in hiring has stopped?
No, I think the slowdown in hiring, it continues, especially in certain sectors. For example, manufacturing is a very interest rate sensitive sector. And with rates at over 20-year highs, that sector has been in a virtual recession for more than a year. I'll also point to white collar industries, so think information, tech, professional business services. We've seen a slowdown in hiring that's rather significant, hitting the headlines in a big way in January with company earnings report. And these were sectors that maybe overinvested in employees and headcount last year. They're kind of right-sizing this year. So there's no one note to the U.S. labor market, but what we do know is that unemployment still remains very low.
Yeah, I mean, just diving into those numbers in more detail, and maybe I'm diving too far here. Is it the case that it's employers are feeling, great, yes, we're growing, let's hire more people? Or is it more the case that there just aren't people out there even to fill the few jobs that we have available?
It depends on the industry. I mean, honestly, employers were doing a lot of replacement hiring. And so we don't expect those big job numbers that the U.S. experienced over the course of 2022 and 2023. And a normal labor market, 100,000 plus jobs is fantastic. We just got used to something bigger. But I think what we're seeing right now with employers are they are afraid to let people go. They're holding on to their labor, and they're hiring selectively for those need to fill positions. They may not be hiring with abundance like they did earlier just to, grow their business. It's really more selective and targeted going forward.
Okay, Nella Richardson from ADP, thank you very much for joining us today.